Peace and light, my dear ones. What a joy to be here with you once again. Welcome to the Light Within channel. Today, I've brought a revelation that will open your eyes to something amazing that happened in your life. Remember that difficult phase you went through, that period of struggle that seemed endless, and then one day you realized something had changed within you. Today, we're going to talk about this. Chosen ones, you overcame the hardest test without knowing. Yes, you who are watching me right now, you went through a divine test and didn't even realize it. And the most incredible part, you overcame it. God tested you and you succeeded even without knowing you were being tested. This is what we're going to discover together today. Before we continue with this revelation, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel right now, turn on the notification bell, and leave your like on this video. Each like is a sign that this message needs to reach more chosen hearts out there. Shall we begin? Since the beginning of time, God has tested those he loves, not out of cruelty or to make us suffer, but to strengthen us, to reveal our true potential, to prepare us for the next level of our spiritual journey. Think about Abraham, who was tested with the request to sacrifice his beloved son. About Job, who lost everything he had to prove his faithfulness. About Joseph, who was sold as a slave by his own brothers before becoming a powerful leader. But here's the detail many don't realize. The greatest tests in our lives don't always come with a warning. There's no voice from heaven saying, "Attention, chosen one, the test will begin now." There's no divine announcement saying, "This is a test of your faith, your patience, your love." In fact, the most transformative tests of our spiritual journey often present themselves disguised as common problems, everyday situations, challenges that seem random. It's that illness that suddenly appeared, the loss of a job that seemed so stable, the relationship that ended without explanation, the abrupt change of plans, the betrayal of someone close. And while you were busy facing these situations, feeling intense emotions, seeking strength to move forward, something was happening in the spiritual background. You were being observed, evaluated, tested. Every choice you made, every reaction, every thought, every tear shed in silence, all of this was part of a divine test that you didn't know you were taking. How do you know if you've recently gone through a divine test? There are subtle signs. Have you ever felt that a difficult situation seemed to be testing exactly your weakest point? Have you noticed that certain challenges seem tailor-made to expose your vulnerabilities? This is no coincidence. Divine tests are personalized, designed specifically for each chosen one. Another sign is the feeling that you're walking in the dark without clear direction. Often, during a test, God seems silent. Not because he has abandoned you, but because he's observing how you navigate without explicit instructions. It's in divine silence that our true faith is revealed. I want to pause now and ask something special. Comment below about a difficult situation you've recently faced that, looking back, you realize might have been a divine test in your life. Share your experience because your testimony might be the light another chosen one needs to recognize their own test. There are different types of tests that chosen ones face along the journey. Let's talk about some of them so you can identify which one you recently overcame. The first is the test of scarcity and waiting. It's when everything seems to be lacking in your life. Financial resources, opportunities, time, health, clarity. You pray and it seems the answers don't come. You plant but don't see the harvest. You knock on doors that remain closed. This test evaluates your ability to trust God when the visible contradicts his promises, when time seems stretched to the maximum. Many chosen ones are going through this test right now. The central question is, can you remain faithful when everything around you suggests you've been forgotten? Can you continue believing in divine promises when your current reality seems to completely contradict them? The second type is the test of rejection and loneliness. It's when you feel misunderstood, set aside, discarded. Perhaps people you loved have distanced themselves. Perhaps your calling isn't recognized by others. Perhaps your ideas are constantly questioned or belittled. This test evaluates your ability to remain faithful to your mission, even when no one is applauding, when you seem to be walking alone. The central question of this test is, would you be able to follow your divine calling, even if you had to do it completely alone? Does your conviction depend on external validation, or is it anchored in something deeper? The third type is the test of prosperity and success. Surprisingly, for many chosen ones, this is one of the most difficult tests. It's when everything seems to be going right, when blessings begin to flow abundantly, when doors open one after another. You receive the raise, the promotion, the recognition, the dream house, the perfect relationship. This test evaluates whether you'll maintain your humility and dependence on God even when you don't need Him to meet immediate needs. If you'll continue seeking the kingdom first, or if you'll let blessings become distractions or even idols. Many chosen ones stumble here, not in the valleys, but on the mountaintops. The fourth type is the test of unconditional love. It's when difficult, irritating, or even hostile people are placed in your path. That impossible co-worker, the family member who always criticizes you, the neighbor who seems determined to make your life more difficult. This test evaluates your ability to love as Christ loved, without demanding reciprocity, without conditions, without expectations. The question here is, can you see beyond the person's behavior and see a child of God who might be hurt or lost? Can you respond with love to hatred, with blessing to cursing? The fifth type is the test of trust amidst chaos. It's when your life seems completely out of control. Crises accumulate, problems arise from all sides, the ground seems to be opening beneath your feet. Nothing makes sense, nothing seems fair. This test evaluates your ability to trust in God's character even when you can't understand His methods. The crucial question of this test is, can you say, like Job, though He slay me, yet will I trust in Him? Is your trust in God based on what He does for you or on who He is? Regardless of the type of test you faced, there are clear signs that you overcame it, even without knowing you were being tested. And here's the most incredible part of this revelation: the transformations that happen after we overcome a divine test. The first sign that you overcame a great test is an inexplicable peace. It's not just the absence of problems, but a deep serenity that remains even when circumstances are still challenging. It's that feeling that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. As if something has settled within you, a spiritual anchor that no longer shakes with life's storms. Have you felt this? That subtle but profound change in how you react to difficulties? Where there was once panic, now there's calm. Where there was once despair, now there's hope. Where there was once confusion, now there's clarity. If you've noticed this transformation in yourself, know that this is a sign that you've overcome a test you didn't even know you were facing. The second sign is a spiritual maturity that seems to have emerged out of nowhere. Suddenly, you realize you're reacting differently to provocations. Situations that used to completely destabilize you now seem less important. You can see the bigger picture, have a higher perspective. Your priorities have changed, your values have solidified. It's as if you've grown years in a matter of months. And in a way, that's exactly what happened. Tests accelerate our spiritual growth in a way that no theoretical study or intellectual knowledge ever could. In the furnace of testing, we are transformed. The third sign is a new spiritual authority. Have you noticed that your prayers seem to have more power now? That when you speak, people really listen? that situations begin to change around you without much effort on your part. This isn't coincidence or luck. It's the direct result of having gone through a test and emerged victorious. After Abraham passed the test of being willing to sacrifice Isaac, God gave him unprecedented authority and blessing. After Joseph passed the test of unjust imprisonment, he received authority over all of Egypt. After David passed the test of sparing Saul's life when he could have killed him, he was established as king with an authority that lasted for generations. The fourth sign is the emergence of new opportunities and open doors, as if suddenly the spiritual universe recognizes that you're ready for the next level. Unexpected invitations, coincidental encounters, resources that appear at the exact moment, creative ideas that emerge as inspiration. The flow of life seems more favorable, not because everything became easy, but because you've aligned more deeply with your divine purpose. It's like a kind of spiritual promotion. You passed the test even without knowing you were being tested, and now you're being moved to the next level of your journey as a chosen one. The fifth sign, and perhaps the most powerful, is a genuine compassion for those who are going through the same test that you overcame. Where before there might have been judgment, now there's understanding. Where before there was impatience, now there's empathy. You become a guide, a counselor, someone who can illuminate the path for others because you've already traveled that specific trail. That's why often our most difficult tests transform into our most powerful ministries. The mother who lost a child and now comforts other grieving mothers. The former addict who now leads a support group. The entrepreneur who went bankrupt and started over and now guides other entrepreneurs. The divorced person who found healing and now counsels couples in crisis. If you feel this calling to use your painful experience to help others, know that this is a clear sign that you not only overcame the test, but transformed it into a testimony that will bring healing to many. Another important revelation: tests don't always end when the difficult circumstance ends. Sometimes the true test continues long after the storm has passed. It's the test of how you'll interpret your story, what meaning you'll attribute to your suffering, how you'll integrate this experience into your spiritual journey. Many chosen ones go through difficult circumstances with relative strength, but fail in this part. They let the experience embitter them, leave them resentful, skeptical, or fearful. The true test often is what you do with your story after it has happened. So how can we prepare for the next tests, now that we know they can come disguised as common problems? First, develop the habit of daily spiritual reflection. Stop to analyze the events of your life, not just through worldly logic, but through a spiritual lens. Ask yourself, what might God be wanting to teach me through this situation? What characteristic might He be developing in me? How does this connect to my greater purpose? Second, strengthen your spiritual connection when everything is well. Many people only intensely seek God in times of crisis, but it's in times of peace that we build the spiritual reserves that will sustain us in times of testing. It's like filling the tank before the long journey through the desert. Third, find a supportive community that understands this spiritual dimension of life. People who can help you discern what's happening in the spiritual background when you're in the middle of the storm. People who won't just offer superficial comfort, but who will help you extract the hidden gold in each trial. Fourth, maintain an eternal perspective. The tests of this life are temporary, but their results are eternal. As the Apostle Paul says, our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. When you face your challenges with this perspective, they gain a meaning that transcends momentary discomfort. Fifth, celebrate your past victories. Remember the tests you've already overcome, even without knowing. Create a memorial in your heart, something you can revisit when new tests arise. like David, who remembered killing the lion and the bear when facing Goliath. Your past victories are prophecies of your future victories. And here's a powerful truth to conclude this reflection. Tests are never punishment. They are preparation. When God allows you to go through a difficult test, it's not because He's angry with you or wants to punish you. It's because He sees in you a potential that perhaps even you can't see yet. It's because He has bigger plans, a higher mission, a deeper purpose for your life. Each test overcome is a confirmation of your status as chosen. It's God saying, I trust you to carry this weight, to face this challenge, to overcome this barrier. It's a divine vote of confidence in your ability to grow, to transform, to become more like Christ. Therefore, when you find yourself in the middle of a difficult situation, take a deep breath and say to yourself, this is a test, and I will overcome it, even if I only realize it afterwards. Change your perspective, and you'll change your experience. What seemed like meaningless suffering transforms into a crucial stage of your journey as a chosen one. And remember, there is no waste in God's kingdom. No tear, no pain, no struggle will be in vain. Everything, absolutely everything, will be redeemed, transformed, and used for the greater good, for your story of glory, for the testimony that only you can give. You are a chosen one who overcame the hardest test without knowing. And this isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter of greater authority, greater impact, greater communion with God. A chapter where you'll help other chosen ones overcome their own invisible tests. And when new challenges come, and they will, because the journey of the chosen one is from glory to glory, from strength to strength, you'll be more aware, more prepared, more confident. Not because you are strong in yourself, but because you've discovered the truth that sustains all chosen ones. Strength is made perfect in weakness. And it's exactly in the moments when we feel weakest that God's power manifests most gloriously in our lives. So, my dear chosen one, lift up your head. The test you just overcame wasn't in vain. It was a divine investment in your life, a celestial vote of confidence, a necessary step toward the glorious destiny that God planned for you since before the foundation of the world. We've reached the end of this moment of revelation, and I hope your heart is full of hope and gratitude. You're not just a survivor, you're a victor. Each test overcome, even those you faced without knowing, are medals of honor in your spiritual journey. Know that I'm praying for you, that you may have eyes to see the divine purpose behind every challenge and strength to transform every test into testimony. If this video touched your heart, share it with someone who might be in the middle of a test right now. Your action might be the light that person needs to move forward. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next revelations. Until then, remember, you are chosen, and each test overcome is just the confirmation of your divine calling. Peace and light.